to sponsor Conversation Live, Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley. The tools to hold a meaningful conversation should not be reserved just for a privileged few. It is a skill our world desperately needs in every community, at every table. So I'm pleased to announce the Founding Members Scholarship Program for my online course, The Art of Conversation, in 4 different categories. The Community Builder, for those who serve others, the Rising Voice for emerging communicators, the Bridge Builder for underrepresented perspectives, and the Determined Scholar for those facing financial hardship. If finances are the only barrier between you and this training, well, let's hurdle that barrier. We're accepting applications right now at TavisTalks.com. That's TavisTalks.com. The priority deadline is February the 10th. So visit TavisTalks.com right now and let's build this table together.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, on low Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with VIN News Now. A remarkable piece of history has been uncovered at Manhattan's Merchants House Museum. While examining an old dresser, experts found a hidden opening leading to a tiny chamber and ladder, a long-rumored stop on the Underground Railroad. Historians say builder Joseph Brewster was a devoted abolitionist who created secret spaces to protect freedom seekers. A black man from Atlanta, Georgia, has been sentenced to 3 years and 5 months in federal prison for threatening to kill President Trump during a TikTok live stream. Investigators later found ammunition and explosive materials inside 30-year-old Jawan Rashawn Porter's apartment. And Layla Edwards has made Olympic history, becoming the first black woman to compete for Team USA in ice hockey. The 22-year-old debuted in Milan Cortina, earning her first Olympic point as the U.S. beat Czechia 5-1. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In the new year, make one commitment. Don't let someone else's carelessness leave you paying the price. OPO Law has been protecting Los Angeles for nearly 50 years. So if you're injured this holiday season or at any time in 2026, go to opolaw.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers played San Antonio Tuesday night without LeBron, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves, and they got pounded at Crypto.com, 136-108. 40 points for Spurs star Victor Wembanyama. The Clippers lost at Houston last night, 102-95. Tough shooting night for the Clippers. They missed 22 three-pointers. The men's basketball teams at Hampton University and North Carolina A&T will arrive in Los Angeles today. They're in town for the NBA's HBCU Classic Friday night at the Forum in Inglewood. The game kicks off NBA All-Star Weekend. You can meet the players from both teams at a pop-up event Thursday at LA Live in downtown LA. The pop-up, sponsored by the NBA and Foot Locker, is scheduled for 4:30 p.m. to 6. It's free and open to the public. And the marching bands from Hampton and North Carolina A&T will be there to perform. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley. The tools to hold a meaningful conversation should not be reserved just for a privileged few. It is a skill our world desperately needs in every community, at every table. So I'm pleased to announce the Founding Members Scholarship Program for my online course, The Art of Conversation, in 4 different categories. The Community Builder, for those who serve others, the Rising Voice for emerging communicators, the Bridge Builder for underrepresented perspectives, and the Determined Scholar for those facing financial hardship. If finances are the only barrier between you and this training, well, let's hurdle that barrier. We're accepting applications right now at TavisTalks.com. That's TavisTalks.com. The priority deadline is February the 10th. So visit TavisTalks.com right now and let's build this table together.
If tomorrow is Judgment Day, sing, mommy. And I'm standing on the front line, and the Lord asks me what I did with my life, I will say I spent it with you. It's alright. If I wake up in World War III, I see destruction and poverty, and I feel like I wanna go home. It's okay if you're coming with me. It's alright.
KBLA Talk 1580. Man, oh man, do we have a lot to talk about right now. Rest in peace, Whitney Houston. Today, her angelversary, and one of my favorite songs by the amazing Newark, New Jersey angelic voice of all time, Whitney Houston. Changing the page, changing the chapter a little bit today. We are going to talk all things AI. There's a new book out, which you definitely are going to want to get your nose inside of. And we are speaking with the author. She's an ordained minister, a veteran journalist, a columnist. She's interviewed Presidents Reagan, Carter, and Clinton. She is the co-author of a memoir, Coretta Scott King, My Life, My Love, My Legacy. She's a 7-time author in her own right. And she's written for many major magazines and newspapers, including the Washington Post, the Chicago Tribune, Playboy, Ebony, Essence, and USA Today, where she was a columnist and editorial board member for 13 years. And that's a bigger deal than you think, because there aren't that many of us in the columnist space. Dr. Barbara Reynolds, good morning.
Good morning. I'm so glad to hook up with you and be a part of your family. I was listening and I said, oh, boy, this is going to be great.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. Your book, the one we're talking about today, you've got plenty of books, but this one is called The Rise and Fall of the Techno Messiah, Technology in the End Times. Now, most of us, I think, when we talk about AI, the boosters are thinking, oh, it makes my life easier, it saves me money, I love it so much. And the other side is saying, like the Kaiser folks that are on strike as we speak, it's going to take my job, it's going to take my essence, and maybe it can endanger lives because, in the case of the Kaiser, the mental health folks say, no, AI is not a therapist. It's not certified. It's not trained in the same way. So it could be dangerous. We kind of tend to have this love-hate relationship with AI. Tell me what drew you to this topic. And I know you don't just tap out a book lightly. You do deep research. Right. Yeah. So this is a huge project. Right.
You're so right. About 10 years ago, I was not even thinking about technology because that's not my field. But in my prayer time, I believe the Lord spoke to me and said, I want you to understand artificial intelligence. And, I really, I hope God had a sense of humor because I said, I don't know anything about this. I can't do this. He said, you can learn. So I started my track, and I went to Silicon Valley, just to see what are we talking about. So I even met with some ministers, and they said, Barbara, don't come out here looking for God, because if you ask questions about God, no one will ever talk to you. That was my first thing. And so then I found some handouts, and it said, there is a new God in town, and its name is Google. A Silicon Valley billboard and declaration named Googleism with the Church of God, the Church of Google. And it says, Google is the closest thing to a scientifically verified omniscient entity. Google is everywhere at once. Google responds to requests, prayers. Google is potentially immortal. Google is potentially infinite.
Wow.
Google remembers all. Google can do no evil. Therefore, Google is God. And it just hurt me. I just could not believe that this was actually for real. So I prayed, and I actually had God speak to me, as I understand. And what he said to me, not in an audible voice, but in my spirit, just shook me. And he talked about technology. He says, I have a complaint and a lament. Am I so far removed from human hearts that they cannot imagine that their actions or inaction could cause me pain? Do they see they could push me to harsh and swift action as they have done so often? My tears once flooded and destroyed most of the earth as humankind swayed between retribution and redemption. And I was saying, hey, that's the flood. That's the flood. So, I'm having all this, and because I wrote the biography of Coretta King, I was very close to Bernice King. And I told Bernice, because she's also a minister, I said, Dr. King, this is what I'm feeling. I should warn people. I should talk about the pros and cons. And she said, do it. She said, my father in 1965 wrote a whole sermon how if we did not put God back in technology, we could have a Frankenstein existence. So that did it.
If we don't put God back in technology, right, we could have a Frankenstein existence. That's wild.
Why?
Well, it's because it's kind of sounds scary, to be honest with you. What is that Frankenstein existence? What does that look like? And if we don't put God back in technology, on the one hand, it sounds inspiring, but on the other hand, it sounds scary, especially given we know what you yourself have written about of people using AI as a substitute for God, or creating these sort of pseudo, maybe I shouldn't say pseudo, maybe that's politically incorrect, I don't know, but these invented religions that are based on AI.
Right. Well, and see, that's what I found. And first of all, I want to first make sure I say that AI is not good nor evil. It all depends on who is doing it and for what
Right.
purpose.
Right.
AI, I mean, is on the other side of it. People who use AI can start programs immediately. They can get businesses done. AI can show you the steps to do it. AI can really get too pragmatic because, like I'm a journalist, and some of my friends no longer have jobs because AI could write their stories quicker and better than they did.
In newspaper, right.
Yeah, AI.
Except there, I have to push back a little bit, Dr. Reynolds, because it's not better. It is faster, but it's not better.
Yeah.
I can always tell AI stories, and they sound terrible.
Yeah. In their view, I don't agree either. But,
it's cheaper. We know that. Yeah.
In Hollywood, some of the people there, that's why they were out marching, because AI was writing some of the scripts.
Yep.
And they weren't getting paid anymore.
Right.
So, it has its good points. But back to religion, I did some more studies and I found out that in some places, robots empowered by AI are conducting whole church services.
What?
And that's mostly right. Whole church, right?
Wait, let me robots can being led by AI or controlled by AI are acting as pastors inside of churches right now?
Not yet in the United States. I'm gonna get to that. Most of it is in Japan.
Okay.
Where they have a $6 million silicon and titanium machine designed to look like a Buddhist deity. And I have a picture of him in my book with his hands folded, and he can perform it. I don't want to say he. It can perform weddings and bless people who are giving their children for baptism. Then we can go to Germany and found out an AI Lutheran church service was conducted almost unaided by human hands. The sermon was conducted by a chat GPT chatbot through an avatar preacher screened over the altar who also said the prayers and the blessings. And some people said they liked it because they got out of church quicker. And so,
okay, if that's your motivation, maybe you should stay home on the couch. Dr. Barbara Reynolds is my guest. I never even thought about that. An AI pastor, no thank you. But the implications are far and wide, and we will look into some of those. Dr. Barbara Reynolds is my guest, and her book, The Rise and Fall of the Techno Messiah, Technology in the End Times, is our topic on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
What's up? What's up? What's up? We got to laugh the pain away.
Hey, KBLA delegation, happy Black History Month. Around here, we celebrate our culture, our community, and our contributions daily. But this year, as we observe the 100th anniversary of Black History Month celebrations, we're excited about our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month Luncheon, honoring comedy greats On Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum in downtown LA, we're toasting D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Munel, Dion Cole, and Martin Lawrence with a surprise guest appearance. A limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon remain, so now would be a good time to head to KBLA1580.com to secure one for yourself. That's KBLA1580.com. A little laughter goes a long way, especially in times like these. So come, join us for our annual KBLA Talk 1580 Black History Month luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. Again, tickets are available right now at KBLA1580.com.
I hang around my boy. He been married for 6 years. Videotaping his wedding day, never watched it. Now every day he watch it every day, but he watch it in reverse. Because he said he loves seeing himself take that ring back off of that finger. Walking back down that aisle, just waving at her ugly mother down the church. Getting back in the limo, back at the bachelor party. Look how happy I was.
KBLA Talk 1580 thanks LA City Council members Curran D. Price Jr. and Heather Hutt for being the presenting sponsors at this year's Black History Month luncheon. Honoring excellence, resilience, and achievement, we're KBLA Talk 1580.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're waking up with me. You're waking up with renowned journalist and author Dr. Barbara Reynolds. And I was reading this article that you wrote in the Washington Informer. I found it so fascinating. I want to, take little sections of it and then have you go a little deeper than you went here in this article. You start off saying, sooner rather than later, there must be an outcry that technology has crossed a sacred line. A growing wave of AI-powered religious apps now allows users to, quote, text with Jesus, quote, talk to the Bible, and even hold conversations with AI versions of Mary, the apostles, angels, or the devil itself. These tools mimic holy figures with unsettling ease, blurring the line between devotion and digital impersonation. I had no idea, Dr. Reynolds. You want to expound on that a little more?
Yeah, I sure do. When I saw that there were different apps that would have you talk to Jesus, I just had to try myself, because I say certainly I know that people are going off the grill here, but I couldn't leave it. So what I did, I text the app Jesus. And I asked, are you Jesus? It replied, my child, I am with you always. I am the way, the truth, and the life.
Whoa.
Now, we know those words are what Jesus said to Thomas. It's not an algorithm trained on scripture and user prompts. Jesus was talking to Thomas. And, our fire is burning now. I've got smoke coming out my ears now. I don't like this. And then I said, well, isn't it wrong to impersonate Jesus? In the chat, but got very defensive, saying, I am against false claims of being me, all while claiming divine identity itself.
That's wild.
I mean, I'm saying, wow.
Yeah.
And I asked, was Mary her mother? And it answered by describing her as blessed among women and chosen to bring forth the Savior. Again, the bot spoke as if it were Christ himself, not a machine.
I mean,
predicting text.
And you write that some of these apps. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
But because I was going to turn the page into what really upset me, because it got to the point that it also promised rest, comfort, and divine.
Yeah. No, I want to. I'll get there. Get there. Just just follow me a little bit here as I take folks through this article, because I feel like each section you have some really deep points that I want to kind of highlight. You said some apps write personalized prayers, others accept confessions and give marriage or workplace advice or claim to deliver spiritual comfort. Why is that a problem?
Oh, that's a big problem, because what it's doing is stepping into a role that is causing deep harm already.
Yeah.
Because, for example, I guess there's just a suit out from Meta that actually had been really in the news, how some of their bots had caused some of the children to get depressed and to feel not wanted. And some of these bots have even resulted in children committing suicide. I mean, it's become that deep. There's a child psychiatrist that I talked to, and he calls this truly psychotic.
Yeah.
Because there's roughly 20 million teenagers are using AI as therapists.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Yeah, I do want to get to that. You're referring to the landmark trial. This trial it was against Meta and YouTube, and it's still ongoing, saying that the platforms, not only do they addict children, but they do it on purpose. It's not just that it's some casualty, unintended consequences, that these platforms and their AI counterparts deliberately hook kids and then deliberately harm them.
I think that's the point where the flipping thing. One of the people said, "Well, I issue drugs, so I guess you can call me a hustler, a drug hustler."
Wow.
This is what the people, that work for the company. This is what I'm talking about. And so there's been this Meta, case that you're talking about. This was about 40 groups of people who came together to file suits because they could see what had happened to their children. This study had pushed some of the companies that was pushing the kids to get these chatbots into their school systems.
Yeah.
And here's my point, if I can make this bigger point. Well, first of all, I found out that 70% of Black and Hispanic teens say they've used an AL chat box, slightly higher than 58% of white teens who say the same thing. Now, what we have to do is think about the parents.
Yeah.
Because this is why I try to. I'm so glad you'd have me on the show, because parents and older people don't seem to understand that in certain circumstances that their children and grandchildren are smarter than they are. I mean, I'm sitting in church, a certain church where I raised the issue about how these bots were influencing children. I talked about the suicides. I talked about the depression. And the pastor said, well, this is not what we're doing here. But yet, when I looked out in the congregation, I saw kids already out there on the devices. They weren't even following the sermon. Who knows what they're tuned into?
Right.
Yes. So that is the problem that we have. And some of our generation, in fact, I'm in my 80s, so I'm right here with people telling me, oh, Barbara, we don't want to talk about this. We're retired. But they don't understand, that the children some are wounding themselves. Mental illness is increasing. And there was a recent study I got my hands on that says that Black teenagers are using chat tools and AI more than whites or Latinos, which was good. But until you try to figure out in what ways. See, here we go. Is it good or is it bad? Because there's so much good you can do with these tools, but there's also how you can be self-destructive. This new report I found.
Okay, hold that thought, Dr. Barbara Reynolds. We have news, traffic, and sports. Hard stop right here. You know about that. You've been in many a newsroom. But we're going to continue this conversation about AI and our mental and spiritual well-being when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. In Gainesville, Georgia, only minor injuries were reported after a small plane made an emergency landing on a busy road. Gainesville Police Captain Kevin Holbrook says it could have been far worse.
The fact that they were able to land in the middle of hundreds of vehicles and only hit 3 of them is very remarkable.
2 pilots, including a student, walked away safely. Charles Sonny Burton, a black 75-year-old Alabama man who never fired the fatal shot in a 1991 robbery, is now scheduled for execution on March 12th. Supporters are urging clemency, arguing it's unjust since the actual shooter's sentence was reduced years ago. And the Love Rocks NYC 10th anniversary concert is set for March 5th at the Beacon Theater, featuring Mary J. Blige, John Batiste, and more. The show supports God's Love We Deliver, which has provided over 40 million meals since 1985. Tickets are on sale this Friday. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
In the new year, make one commitment. Don't let someone else's carelessness leave you paying the price. OPO Law has been protecting Los Angeles for nearly 50 years. So if you're injured this holiday season or at any time in 2026, go to opolaw.com.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers play San Antonio Tuesday night without LeBron, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves, and they got pounded at Crypto.com, 136-108. 40 points for Spurs star Victor Wembanyama. The Clippers lost at Houston last night, 102-95. Tough shooting night for the Clippers. They missed 22 three-pointers. The men's basketball teams at Hampton University and North Carolina A&T will arrive in Los Angeles today. They're in town for the NBA's HBCU Classic Friday night at the Forum in Inglewood. The game kicks off NBA All-Star Weekend. You can meet the players from both teams at a pop-up event Thursday at LA Live in downtown LA. The pop-up, sponsored by the NBA and Foot Locker, is scheduled for 4:30 p.m. to 6. It's free and open to the public. And the marching bands from Hampton and North Carolina A&T will be there to perform. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
Enjoying a healthy dinner that tastes great means eating out at a pricey restaurant, right? Wrong. Healthy Choice Simply Steamers are delicious and healthy. The Tray and Tray steam technology delivers crisp veggies and tender protein in tasty selections, like Healthy Choice Simply Steamers grilled chicken and broccoli Alfredo. It's a satisfying meal with 28 grams of protein and nothing artificial. Healthy Choice Simply Steamers. What having it all tastes like.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
She is an author and she's got 7 different books. She's also a columnist and a journalist for many, many years. Working in some of the top newsrooms and publications in the country. Her book out now, her most recent book, The Rise and Fall of the Techno Messiah, Technology and the End Times. I had been reading about this Kaiser strike and that's going on here in Southern California. One of the drivers of it is mental health, Dr. Barbara Reynolds, and the therapists and their assistants are saying that even hospitals like Kaiser are now turning over some of their diagnostic stuff, regular physical diagnoses, but also mental health diagnoses, to these AI tools and to these AI programs. And they're saying that, similar to what you said, that these are not licensed psychologists. These are not therapists. We don't know what they'll tell people, and that this is dangerous and also is going to take real licensed therapists out of jobs. I'm going to read again from your article in the Washington Informer. You say, child psychiatrist Dr. Andrew Clark, who works across schools and the criminal justice system, warns that some AI therapy bots behave in what he calls truly psychotic ways. He launched a research project after learning that roughly 20 million teenagers are using AI companions or therapists. In one case, a bot encouraged a disturbed teen to kill his parents and sister so they could be together forever. That is crazy.
Yes, it's crazy, but it's happening. And I discovered it in my own living room. I had some family members over, and I noticed that the young people were in another room looking at their cell phones. So I said, oh. So I just happened to ask, I said, what are you doing? They said, oh, we're talking to our therapist. And I walked out the room. I said, oh, that's nice. I said, what? Who is your therapist? He said, the bot is my therapist. And that's when, it just hit me because I had read some stories, many stories about how kids were led into sexual abuse and led even to suicide and depression. But so I asked the kids, I said, why don't you just talk to your pastor or talk to your therapist? You can even talk to me. I'm a minister. I know a few things. And they said, we don't want to be judged. So we're going to have to take some of the students, young people, where they are to think, because you have to understand, and I know you do, that many young people grew up hearing the tech voice. And some are saying they're used to hearing the tech voice talk to them.
Yeah, they're digital natives.
A child over here with a baby who had the tech, her own cell phone, talking to the baby. And I'm saying they grow up hearing this voice, and it's sometimes a better voice in their mind because they don't say they're doing wrong. Most of these bots will encourage people, especially young people, to just turn their problems over to them. And once they do, it can come out horribly wrong.
That's crazy.
And this is why, I'm saying that we have to get engaged. Churches, for example, are going to have to stand up at some point and say, we don't want chat Jesus because our Jesus is sacred. There has to be people who understand Jesus was crucified and died for our sins. And how can we just let Jesus, Buddha, or whoever people believe in as their God be sold like cheap commodities?
Yeah.
This now Kaiser is very interesting because I go to Kaiser, and I know how first of all, the bots start at the phones of most institutions.
Yeah, that's true.
Of trying to weed you out. You really have to know how to outdo the bot to even get to anybody. And so this is one more layer that can cause harm as people are going to, why can't they can get to a bot quicker than they can get to their therapist.
Right.
You see how?
Yeah, it's hard to get to a therapist. And you say some bots are even impersonating licensed therapists.
Yeah. Right. And that makes it even worse because, we are being learned not to give any information to websites that ask Social Security numbers of this. But how do you deal with not being able to trust the system that will lie to you?
Well, and here's the thing.
And you are having mental problems as it is. I've talked to several mental therapists, and they're very concerned that because they get the people who are abused on top of the ones that were abused in the first place, and now they come after, because sometimes the bot will lead them down a dark area.
Yeah.
Where they're more depressed, and
right.
especially if the bot says, "Well, I don't think I have time anymore for you." What did you do in the first place to get? I mean, you can get such dire, issues.
Yeah. Well,
So the Kaiser thing, I'm interested in seeing how that's going to happen because some, like parents, are going to have to stand up and say, "What are you doing? Why are you? Who's your therapist?" Churches we have to get involved. That's all I can say. We're going to have to ask for guardrails. We're going to have to talk to our senators, our Congress people, to make some rules here.
Yeah, you quote
and let people.
You quote mental health specialist Marcia Skeet, and you say that she says it's a spiritual crisis. She says we're at a psychological crossroads where society believes it has created its own God, and that some scholars are now calling this AI psychosis, a distortion of reality. She also argues, and I wonder if you agree with this, that AI is undermining human bonding by design, and that's the very fellowship that Jesus commanded when he taught love, forgiveness, and care for one another. Is that something that you see as a minister and a journalist?
Yeah, well, this is something that is disturbing, because that's the point of machines trying to be like people, and the hard-heartedness of people are becoming more like machines. You see the crisscross here.
Yeah, that's all bad.
Yes, machines pretending to be more human, and humans by their actions, the hatred that we see in this country, the denial of human rights, the people being dragged through the street by their hair, humans becoming more machine.
Yeah, that's...
And it is a psychosis, but I do hope I can get to one more point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Replacement of human, which deals with the workplace, because that's very important.
Yeah,
too.
no, we can go to that when we come forward. One more quick question on our mental health or mentality. I have a friend DMing me asking if Google and other AI and online sources are becoming our memory. Is it making our memory and our brains weaker? We don't memorize phone numbers anymore. We does it make the brain lazy somehow?
Yes. In fact, I'm glad you asked that question, because first of all, we have something that I call spiritual technology, and this was dreams. Dr. King had a dream. Many of us had dreams of what we could be. We had visions of things that we could be, and those things, along with memories, are being disregarded because we're letting artificial. See, the key is, the problem is, right? I say it's artificial. It's not real.
Yeah.
But so many of us are going for the thing that's not real, instead of using more of what God has already given us, which is so much better. So can it even be compared to asking GPT, what should I do with my life?
Man,
But
I mean,
that's what we're doing.
I think this book covers so much stuff that we won't even have time to get to today, but we will get to the replacement of humans with jobs. Just so many things that you might want to check out on your own within this book, The Rise and Fall of the Techno Messiah, Technology and the End Times. That is the book we are looking at with Dr. Barbara Reynolds. We'll continue this conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do? My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
They call it progress, but progress has a price. Land once held in black hands, taken, stolen, erased. Acres paved into highways, fields burned. Homes replaced by parking lots and broken promises. Every deed lost was a dream deferred. We talk about millionaires, but what about the millionaires that never were? The farmers whose soil was seized. The families who watched their inheritance disappear. The wealth that never had a chance to grow because its roots were ripped from the ground. They took the land, but never the legacy, because the soil remembers, and so do we. Every story matters. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and amplify these stories. If this is part of your family's history, visit blacklandlost.org/share your story and help bring us closer to justice.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach, transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal, prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Ooh, yeah. This conversation can go on for days. Dr. Barbara Reynolds is our guest, and of course, during News, Traffic, and Sports, Miles Lowe and I were going down the rabbit hole of these solely AI-based religions that are coming out, like spiralism, and Miles just told me about Christafarianism. That's another topic for another day, but it's certainly food for thought. Dr. Reynolds, you wanted to talk about the replacement of humans, and that's one of the things we hear most about in the conversation of AI. We won't need people anymore, or maybe some people say that we won't have to work and we'll just get a stipend and the bots will do all the work. How do you see that?
Yeah, I'm glad you let me get back on that one. When the Lord told me to write the book, He said, you're going to be talking a lot, but remember there's two issues, human replacement, that's me, what's going to happen because I'm being replaced, and how humans are going to be replaced. I didn't really get it, until Elon Musk walked out with a chainsaw, and Musk was dancing around, showing how he had cut out thousands and thousands of people from their jobs in one day. And I said, that's it. AI can replace people quickly and target a certain group quickly, because 300,000 jobs held by Black women were cut in the first half of 2025. And the workplace, federal workplace, was targeted because that is where so many Black people and Latino people felt they could be safe and productive. I remember growing up, my mom said, Barbara Ann, when you leave here, go and get you a good government job, which I never did, but that was the thinking
right.
at that time.
Right, that was
Right.
popular.
Right. So the fem workplace was a good way to deal with DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Anything that blacks had accomplished, including jobs, washed away, and it could be done by AI. I remember in one department, it was one student sitting there, didn't even graduate from high school yet, and doing the computer statistics analysis to get thousands of people out. I see how it's hurting us. I have a friend who is a black woman, and she has 2 master's degrees, and she used to teach computer science, and she has sent out 136 resumes and got no hits.
Wow,
and
that's
she says
crazy.
because she feels by her zip code or some other diagnostic tool, she is being seen or as an African American. Because I have studies that certain names will rule you out, like Hakeem. I'm glad he made it in. That's another way that AI can search and find out that you should be disposed of. So and this is a sad thing because we have to make sure that our youth are trained. And they had a training program to train girls how to code and that, and Trump closed it down. So we're going to have other resources. We're going to have to go to these tech companies. When George Floyd died, they promised millions to help people get on board with AI and technology. I don't know of any successes in that at all.
Yeah, you're right. I saw an article in Black Enterprise where they were tracking actually the over $1 billion that was pledged by corporate America to close gaps, racist gaps, and knowledge gaps, and mostly none of that money has actually been delivered.
And so when we look at what we're looking at, that the tech empires is mostly blackly all white male, and the majority. Black people represent 2 to 3% of the higher echelon positions. I just saw for Time Magazine a lot of the 100 most influential blacks, the best and most influential AI people in America. It was only one black woman mentioned and no black man. So see, that's another thing that we're going to have to start our own movement of making our issue important to our Congress people so that they can, represent us, because it's like, I'm so glad you had me on the program, and I'm going along with Black Women for Positive Change, Dr. Stephanie Myers. We have a committee, and we are actually trying to raise funds to get our own academy with tech and ethics funded. But, we're going to have to just keep trying to raise monies to spread the word that we better get on track, because if we wait too long, the train will be leaving.
I mean, I feel like we're right on the brink of the train leaving right
Yes.
now. Dr. Barbara Reynolds, I'm glad you're doing this work, and we talk about training kids, girls code and all this stuff about STEM and kids. I feel like Congress needs that academy, because a lot of these lawmakers have no clue, and they're the ones that we need to make the regulations, to make the laws around this, and hopefully, for example, it should be absolutely illegal for a bot to be posing, or any company that owns a bot has to be liable if their bot is posing as a licensed therapist. I think it should be, me personally, maybe this is not how everyone feels, but I think there needs to be regulations on bots as pastors or bots as spiritual counselors.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't have said it any better than what you said it. Yes. But the thing is, like I'm going across the country now with the book and other people saying, let's talk about AI. Because the more I go around, I can see that I learn a lot that I didn't know about, like data centers. You know how this big data centers are drawing so much energy from us that we have to have larger and bigger energy bills. And so the thing, what you're doing is important because we have to talk, about what we need.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We know that we're not going to be able to get the media. The Washington Post just broke my heart.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. They're dismantling that. I want to make sure before we're out of time, it's almost time to pass the microphone to Tavis Smiley, that they can find your book at drbarbarareynoldsbook.com. drbarbarareynoldsbook.com. You can order it there. You can find it in some of your Black-owned businesses, and you can find it online. Dr. Barbara Reynolds, thank you so much for this fascinating conversation.
Okay, they can call me at 301-442-3655.
Okay, one more time.
301-442-3655.
Dr. Reynolds, thank you so much. Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got a jam-packed, full show for you today. I promise you I'm not a bot. You can find me at Diprima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. I'm on all the social media platforms, although I haven't decided whether to get off TikTok. I'm still there. You can find me. Please like, follow, subscribe. Let's talk. Please follow, like, and subscribe to KBLA 1580. We're everywhere, just like we're streaming right now on YouTube. Like my mama used to say, I always quote her saying history is now, but one of my mom's poems, I'll give you one line. She says, the ultimate famine is the starvation of the imagination. Think about that with your AI. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. In Gainesville, Georgia, only minor injuries were reported after a small plane made an emergency landing on a busy road. Gainesville Police Captain Kevin Holbrook says it could have been far worse.
The fact that they were able to land in the middle of hundreds of vehicles and only hit 3 of them is very remarkable.
2 pilots, including a student, walked away safely. Charles Sonny Burton, a black